The afternoon was peaceful as I stood at the kitchen sink, washing dishes. The sunlight streaming through the window was warm and gentle, but its warmth couldn't quite reach my heart. At 35, I had been married for several years, but those years had been far from happy. "Lisa, have you finished your homework?" I called out to my 7-year-old daughter. Lisa was sitting at the dining table, working on the assignments she had brought home from school. She nodded slightly in response to my question. "Yes, Mommy. But I could use a little help." I set the dishes aside and made my way over to Lisa. As I looked over her homework, I gently took her small hand in mine, and together we worked through the problems. These were the only moments that brought me any peace. Suddenly, the sound of the door slamming open echoed through the house. My husband, Kyle, was home. His footsteps reverberated throughout the house, and I tensed up. As Kyle entered the living room from the front door, he looked down at me with cold eyes. "You're still doing this nonsense?" Kyle's voice was harsh. "You can't even handle the housework properly, and yet here you are, helping our daughter with her homework. It's embarrassing." I kept my head down, suppressing the urge to argue back. When we first got married, Kyle had been kind and gave me hope for the future. But soon after the wedding, his attitude changed completely. He treated me like a maid, forbade me from going out, and sometimes even resorted to violence. "You should just stay inside the house. All you do is cause trouble when you go out," Kyle's words rang in my ears, squeezing my heart. I had considered divorce many times, but the presence of 7-year-old Lisa made me hesitate. Lisa was my only hope and my everything. Despite being constantly overwhelmed with housework and childcare, I tried my best to keep a smile on my face for Lisa's sake. Every time I saw her innocent grin, I felt a little bit saved. However, Kyle's behavior only got worse as time went on. When he came home from work, he would complain about everything in the house and hurl insults at me on a daily basis. "To think that someone like you is my wife, my life might as well be over," Kyle's words left deep wounds in my heart. I still remember that day vividly. The afternoon sun was intense, and the roads were bone dry. I had just dropped Lisa off at school and was waiting for the traffic light to turn green when it happened. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a car speeding towards me. The next moment, I heard the impact, and I felt like I was floating in the air before losing consciousness. When I woke up, I was lying in a hospital bed. My entire body was screaming in pain, but my legs hurt the most. The doctor told me, "You have fractures in both legs. You'll need to use a wheelchair for a while." I couldn't say anything. All I could think about was Lisa, and my chest tightened at the thought. Kyle didn't even come to visit me. Instead, when he found out about my injury, he said, "I can't be seen outside with a disabled wife. It's too embarrassing." His cold words left a deep scar on my heart. Lisa, too, was increasingly told by her father, "You poor thing, having to be raised by a disabled mother," and she would often come to me in tears, hugging me tightly. As the days went on like this, I began to seriously consider divorce. However, financial insecurity and concerns about Lisa's future made it difficult for me to take that step. One day, I received a call from my parents. "Sarah, we have something important to discuss. Do you have a moment?" My mother's voice was more tense than usual. When I got home, my mother and father were waiting for me with serious expressions. We sat at the living room table, and my mother began to speak. "Actually, you have some assets to inherit. The total amount is $17 million. I couldn't believe my ears. I never dreamed that such a large sum of money would suddenly fall into my lap. As the days passed, hope slowly began to return to my heart. I spent more time with Lisa, and her smile sustained me. Kyle's presence became increasingly loathsome, but for now, I still couldn't escape that reality. As Kyle's behavior grew even more cruel, his intentions gradually became clear to me. One evening, as Kyle sat on the living room sofa watching TV, his gaze shifted to follow my movements. There wasn't a shred of kindness in his eyes, only a calculating, ruthless glint. "Sarah, I've been hearing a lot about insurance lately. How are things with our family?" Kyle suddenly asked. Hiding my inner turmoil, I replied, insurance? Nothing's really changed. But in that moment, I was certain. Kyle was after my life insurance money. His questions continued frequently after that. The phrase, if something were to happen to you, was woven into his words, and each time, a chill ran down my spine. With things like this, I'm worried about Lisa's future. If something happens to you, I'll have to protect Lisa properly, Kyle said with a laugh, but to me, it sounded like a threat. Something snapped inside me. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. As I lay in bed, I stared at Kyle's profile and made a decision in my heart. At this rate, Lisa's life and mine are in danger. The next morning, I took action right away. I called my parents and asked them to change the beneficiary on my life insurance policy from Kyle to them. My parents were shocked when they heard my story, but they quickly understood and proceeded with the process. I could hear my mother's worried voice over the phone. Sarah, no matter what happens, we're here for you. Those words were more encouraging than I can say. I knew how difficult it would be to carry out this plan without Kyle finding out, but for Lisa's sake, I had to make it succeed. I vowed strongly in my heart. One day, when Kyle suddenly suggested going for a drive, I didn't miss the underlying intent. Why don't we go to the beach? It's been a while, he said with a rare gentleness, but I could see the cold calculation behind his words. That sounds nice. Why don't we bring Lisa too? I suggested, but Kyle immediately replied, no, let's just go, the two of us, today. In that moment, I was certain. Kyle was putting his plan to get rid of me into action. As we got in the car, Kyle's driving was more careful than usual. On the way to the beach, I mentally ran through every possible scenario and considered countermeasures. It was clear that Kyle was targeting me, but I still didn't know exactly what he planned to do. When we arrived at the beach, Kyle stopped the car and moved me into my wheelchair. In the stillness of the night, only the sound of the waves could be heard. As Kyle pushed me in my wheelchair, getting closer to the sand, I could feel my heart pounding faster and faster. The cold night wind stung my skin, and a constant anxiety swirled in my mind. His smile looked more and more sinister. Sarah, I appreciate everything you've done. But I don't need you anymore, Kyle's words seemed to come from far away. I held my breath and braced myself for his next move. Kyle brought me close to the sea and released the brakes on my wheelchair. His eyes were utterly ruthless, and for a moment, I thought it might all be over. Goodbye, Sarah, Kyle said coldly as he pushed the wheelchair forward. I tumbled into the sea, and the cold water enveloped me in an instant. My breath stopped for a second, and terror coursed through my body. But the next moment, the wheelchair bobbed to the surface, and I was floating on the water. I had secretly installed a special float on the wheelchair beforehand. The float worked perfectly, and I was saved from drowning. Kyle's face was a picture of shock, and he let out a scream. Why? How? In that moment, I laughed to myself. Kyle's plan had failed. I had been waiting for this moment and preparing all along. The waves gently rocked me, carrying me towards the shore. As they did, my mind regained its composure. A mix of emotions filled my chest, the realization that I had survived and the indignation I felt towards Kyle. For Lisa's sake, too, I couldn't let it end here. Kyle was in a panic, but I calmly considered the steps I needed to take to call for help. Fortunately, I had brought my cell phone in a waterproof case. With trembling hands, I took out the phone and immediately called the police. Please help me. My husband is trying to kill me. I explained the situation concisely and provided my location. The time until the police arrived felt like an eternity, but I never took my eyes off Kyle for a moment. Finally, I heard police sirens in the distance. Kyle's face was a mask of despair, and he tried to flee, but I was determined to stop him. Kyle, it's over. Your plan failed. The police arrived on the scene, and Kyle was arrested on the spot. As I watched the handcuffs being placed on his wrists, I finally let out a sigh of relief. Tears spilled out, and the full weight of reality came crashing down on me. The police officers made sure I was safe and quickly provided the necessary care. As I explained the situation in a shaky voice, my top priority was Lisa. My daughter is at home. Please take her somewhere safe. Kyle was shoved into a police car, and I was finally taken to a secure location. After it was all over, a new hope blossomed in my heart. Lisa and I had a new life waiting for us now. Several weeks had passed since Kyle's arrest. The house was enveloped in silence as Lisa and I began our life with just the two of us. Each day brought new challenges. One day, I received a letter. It was from Kyle's lawyer. When I opened it, inside was a document informing me that Kyle's bail application had been denied. I stared at the document and let out a sigh of relief. Kyle was still in custody. Later, I was informed by the police that a date had been set for Kyle's trial. Lisa and I prepared to go to the courthouse, steeling ourselves mentally. Holding Lisa's hand, we stepped into the courtroom. In court, the prosecutor described Kyle's crimes in detail. The evidence presented included my call records, testimony from the scene, and photographic evidence of the moment Kyle tried to push me into the sea. Kyle never once looked me in the eye, but I could see a hint of regret on his face. "Sarah, please take the stand." Called by the judge's voice, I stood at the witness stand. Trying to control my trembling hands, I recounted in detail the daily suffering with Kyle and the events of that night. With Lisa watching, I told everything through tears. He tried to kill me. But I survived. Because for my daughter's sake, I had to overcome this ordeal. With each word, I felt the weight in my heart gradually lighten. Kyle smiled thinly and said in a cold voice, "That night was a misunderstanding. I just wanted to talk to Sarah." But his words didn't resonate with anyone. A cold silence flowed through the courtroom. The final arguments finished, and the time came for the judge to deliver the verdict. Defendant, Kyle Smith. You are found guilty of attempted first-degree murder. As those words rang out, all the tension that had built up in my chest was released at once. Kyle was taken away by the police, and I watched him go. Later, I was notified by the police that Kyle had been sent to prison. He would not be a free man for a long time. Hearing that report, I was finally able to feel truly at ease. When I got home, Lisa asked me with concern, "Mommy, are you okay?" Lisa's small hand touched my cheek. At that warmth, tears spilled out. "Yes, I'm fine. From now on, we'll always be together." Spending time with Lisa gradually healed the wounds in my heart. Her smile was the best healing for me. Kyle's shadow faded away, and a new light began to shine into our lives. After Kyle was sent to prison, life for Lisa and I slowly stabilized. With his absence, a quiet peace returned to the house, and we began preparing to start a new life. My heart was finally free, and I could envision a future together with Lisa. One morning, I was sitting on the living room sofa helping Lisa get ready for school. Lisa was full of energy, chattering about one thing after another that happened at school as she ate breakfast. Seeing her smile, a warm feeling spread deep in my heart. "Mommy, today in art class we're going to draw flowers. What kind of flower do you think would be good?" Lisa asked, her eyes sparkling. How about a sunflower? I think the bright, lively feeling suits you perfectly, Lisa." I answered with a smile. Lisa nodded happily, "That's a great idea," and headed off to school. After the divorce from Kyle was finalized, I decided to take Lisa and move back to my parents' home. It was the house where I grew up, and my parents welcomed us warmly. My mother focused on treating my injuries, and my father doted on Lisa. Lisa, too, was enveloped in her grandparents' love and was able to feel secure. As each day gradually returned to tranquility, I found myself reflecting more on my past with Kyle. One day, my mother quietly said to me, "Sarah, I think you should know this. It seems Kyle married you for your life insurance money." Hearing those words, it felt like everything clicked into place. Kyle's cruel attitude, indifference, and abnormal obsession with insurance. He had indeed married me with the life insurance money as his goal. So that's how it was. He was trying to use me from the very beginning. I sighed deeply as I began to sort through my memories of the past. But it's okay, now. I have Lisa with me, and getting divorced was the right decision. I smiled at my mother. With my relationship with Kyle over, a new future awaited me and Lisa. Lisa, too, didn't seem to think of Kyle as her father anymore. She was lovingly raised by her grandparents and received a great deal of affection from them. Every time I saw Lisa's innocent smile, I was convinced that this decision had been the right one. As life with Lisa at my parents' home stabilized, I began to think about the next step. Lisa's smile and my parents' support gave me the courage to pursue a new dream. That dream was to open a flower shop that was easy for people in wheelchairs to work at, using my own experiences. I aimed to actively hire people with disabilities and build a supportive community. One day, my mother spoke to me in the living room. "Sarah, I know how much you love flowers. Your father and I will help out, so why don't you try seriously chasing your dream?" Those words moved me and warmed my heart. "Thank you, Mom. I want to show Lisa a wonderful future too, and I want to take on new challenges myself." Using the assets I inherited from my parents, I decided to move forward with preparations to open the flower shop. Days were spent finding a location for the store, planning the interior design, and getting the necessary equipment. Lisa happily helped out too. "Mommy, what if we put this color flower here?" She would actively offer her opinions. My goal was not just to sell flowers, but to create an environment where people with disabilities could work comfortably. I put a lot of thought into a layout that was easy to navigate in a wheelchair and arrangements that would allow the staff to work in comfort. I incorporated barrier-free elements into the store's design, aiming for a place where everyone could work pleasantly. On opening day, the store was lined with flowers of all colors, and a fresh fragrance wafted through the air. Customers came one after another, and each time I saw them pick up a flower, a warm sense of satisfaction spread in my heart. I decided to name the flower shop Lisa's Garden. It felt perfect as a symbol of Lisa's innocent smile and our new life. "Lisa, we had so many customers come in today." I smiled at her. "Yes, Mommy. Everyone looked so happy seeing the flowers." Lisa's eyes were shining. She seemed to find joy in having found her own role as a part of this flower shop. The time I spent talking with customers in the store became my greatest pleasure. I realized what a truly wonderful thing it was to be able to bring people joy through flowers. Also, working together with people with disabilities made our community even warmer. One of the staff members, Mary, was a woman who worked from a wheelchair. Like me, she utilized her experiences as a person with a disability while fulfilling her role. "Sarah, I'm so happy to be working at this shop. If there were more people like you, we could all be even happier." Those words made my heart swell. "Thank you, Mary. Let's support each other and make this a wonderful place." The flower shop business was going well, and every day was fulfilling. Conversations with customers who visited the store and bringing joy to people through flowers became my greatest pleasure. Also, working together with people with disabilities made our community even warmer. Lisa, too, seemed to never tire of helping out at the store. After school ended, she would come straight to the shop and ask with great interest, "Mommy, what kinds of flowers did you sell today?" "We sold a lot of roses today. The store is even brighter thanks to you, Lisa." I hugged Lisa and thanked her for her hard work. This new life was full of hope for us. The past with Kyle was now just the past, and I was moving forward strongly, facing the future I was building together with Lisa. As daily life settled down, new hopes gradually began to blossom in my heart. The stability of life with Lisa gave me the room to think about a new future. Amidst this, an opportunity arose to participate in volunteer activities. One weekend, Lisa and I participated in a volunteer activity held at a local park. The theme of the activity was creating a park that's easy to use for people in wheelchairs. This was an extremely meaningful project for us. We felt we could help create a place where many people could comfortably spend time, using our own experiences. As Lisa and I were working together, a man approached us. He had kind eyes and was watching our activity with interest. "Hello, nice to meet you. My name is David. I was impressed by what you're doing." "Hello, David. I'm Sarah, and this is my daughter Lisa." This project is very important to us. I replied with a smile. David was a lawyer and was similarly interested in supporting people with disabilities. As a lawyer, I'm often involved in projects like this. If there's any way I can help from a legal perspective, please let me. David's words warmed my heart. I could feel his sincerity and passion. After that, David and I had several opportunities to work together on activities, and we gradually got to know each other better. Each time I encountered his sincerity and kindness, my heart opened up a little more. One day, David visited our flower shop. "Sarah, this store is really wonderful. I can feel your passion," he said as he looked around the shop. "Thank you. I'm truly happy to have created this place together with Lisa." I replied gratefully to his words. David started helping out at the store too, and naturally blended into our lives. One evening, after Lisa had gone to sleep, David and I were talking in the living room. He suddenly got a serious expression and said, "Sarah, spending time with you and Lisa is more important to me than anything. If it's all right with you, I'd like us to always be together from now on. What do you think?" Those words made my heart swell. It felt like a miracle to be able to overcome the pain of the past and feel new happiness in this moment. "David, being with you makes me happy too. Let's continue building a future together," I replied, tears welling up. We got married, and our life as a new family began. David was kind to Lisa too, and became an important presence for her as well. Lisa also wholeheartedly trusted David and accepted him as family. "Mommy, David is really kind. We're happy, aren't we?" When Lisa said that one day, I agreed from the bottom of my heart. "That's right, Lisa. We're truly happy. Being able to always be together from now on is what's most important," I replied, taking Lisa's hand and feeling grateful. Life as a new family was peaceful and warm. With David's support, I was able to run the flower shop with even more confidence. On weekends, I spent more time with Lisa and David, having picnics in the park and enjoying homemade meals together. Our future was filled with love and support. I savored the happiness of being able to watch Lisa grow while building a new family with David. As life as a new family got on track, the flower shop business continued to go even more smoothly. In addition to her school activities, Lisa actively helped out at the flower shop, and David supported us whenever he could between his work. We were all fulfilling our respective roles while enjoying happy days. One day, a letter arrived from the town. It praised the impact our flower shop, Lisa's Garden, had on the local community. When I opened the letter, there was a letter of appreciation from the mayor along with an invitation to an awards ceremony. "Sarah, this is really wonderful," David said as he read the letter. "Your efforts and passion have been recognized. I really can't believe it." I was filled with a mix of surprise and joy. Lisa also looked at the letter and excitedly exclaimed, "Mommy, this is amazing. Our flower shop is getting an award." On the day of the awards ceremony, I headed to the venue with Lisa and David. Nervousness and joy intermingled in my heart, but having my family by my side made me feel secure. When we arrived at the venue, many people welcomed us, and we were enveloped in a warm atmosphere. The mayor took the stage and began his speech. "Today, we are gathered to honor those who have made great contributions to the local community. In particular, Sarah Smith's flower shop, Lisa's Garden, has actively promoted employment of people with disabilities and brought hope and joy to many." The moment I heard those words, my heart swelled. It was a moment when all the hardships and efforts were rewarded. The mayor called my name and urged me to come up on stage. Holding tightly to Lisa and David's hands, I walked step by step towards the stage. "Sarah, in appreciation of your dedication, we present you with this letter of appreciation." As I received the letter from the mayor, I couldn't hold back my tears. Looking down from the stage, I could see Lisa beaming. "Thank you very much." I bowed deeply and expressed my heartfelt gratitude. This award is not due to my efforts alone. It is the result of the support of my family, friends, and all the staff at the flower shop. I hope to continue activities that support the local community together with all of you. As I stepped down from the stage, Lisa and David came running over. "Mommy, that was so wonderful," Lisa said happily, and David also embraced me saying, "I'm really proud of you, Sarah." That night, we raised a toast as a family. As David poured the wine, he said, "I'm so happy to see your efforts recognized like this. Let's keep working hard together." "Thank you, David. And Lisa, thank you for always helping out. It's because our family is together that we were able to come this far," I said, feeling deeply grateful. That night, after getting into bed, I closed my eyes quietly, reflecting on the journey so far. The past suffering with Kyle, opening the flower shop, life with my new family, and the awards ceremony. All of it was part of my life and made me grow stronger. Looking towards the future, I renewed my determination to move forward with new hope. Lisa's smile and David's love warmly enveloped my heart. That was my greatest pride. 10 years have passed since then. Time really flies, I feel. Lisa has grown up completely and is now a fine adult. Today is her wedding day. Seeing Lisa looking beautiful as a bride, my heart swelled. The wedding venue was decorated with flowers from our shop, Lisa's garden, and was filled with a warm, happy atmosphere. David and I took Lisa's hands and proudly sent her down the aisle. The warmth of his hand gave me a sense of security. As the ceremony proceeded, Lisa went up on stage to give her greeting as the bride. Gripping the microphone with a slightly nervous look, she took a deep breath and began to speak. "Today, I want to express my gratitude to everyone. Especially to my mother Sarah and father David. Without these two, I wouldn't be here today." At Lisa's words, my heart warmed. Her eyes were overflowing with gratitude, and seeing her like that, I almost shed tears. My mother has always supported me since I was little. She is strong, kind, and has overcome any difficulty. Growing up watching my mother's back, I came to want to live strongly like her. Lisa continued, choking up. "And David, you taught us a new form of family. You always watched over us warmly and loved me like a real daughter. I am truly grateful." She took a deep breath and took out a letter. "Please let me read a letter to my mother. Dear Mother, I am deeply grateful and respect you for raising me on your own and for continuing your activities to support people with disabilities. Your strength and kindness have always encouraged me. Seeing you overcome any difficulty, I resolved to become strong myself." Lisa's voice trembled with emotion. "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here now. Your love and support have enriched my life. I will always be proud of you, grateful to you. Mom, thank you so much." When Lisa finished reading the letter, the venue fell silent, and then warm applause resounded. I cried, praying from the bottom of my heart for Lisa's happiness. I was deeply grateful for being able to see her grow up and for finding new happiness. There was no contact from Kyle after that, but I don't care anymore. The past suffering is in the past, and now I spend fulfilling days surrounded by Lisa, my new family, and my friends at the flower shop. Our shop, Lisa's Garden, continues to be loved by the local people and brings joy to many. After the wedding, Lisa started a new life. Our family vowed to continue supporting each other and walking together. That night, after getting into bed, I closed my eyes quietly, reflecting on the journey so far. The past suffering with Kyle, opening the flower shop, meeting David, and Lisa's wedding. All of it was part of my life and made me grow stronger. Looking towards the future, I renewed my determination to move forward with new hope. Lisa's smile and David's love warmly enveloped my heart.